Welcome back to some professional StarCraft, to a best of 5 between two of my favorite players in the entire world. Yes, let me introduce in the top left, the #1 Protoss in the world, and by not a small margin, making waves and making plays all throughout many different tournaments lately. I give you hero. Showing everyone how to play no matter what you're up against. And speaking of up against, we have a bit of a creative. Some might say cheesy, some might say stylistic, and all will love to watch. We could cut to his base, but this is kind of the relevant information here. We have ByuN. Not a great start. Proxying a barracks, losing the first SCV as it gets scouted almost immediately. 2 probes pulled off, another SCV coming up. It's jammed up against the corner. There are actually some positions where the SCV cannot be hit by the probes, but with 2 probes you can cover a lot of the angles. No, my god. Okay. Alright, cuts the ribbon on the barracks, says my work here is done, my people need me. His people, of course, being dead SCVs, now in good company. A Zealot is done. It's a Zealot against a Reaper, but I think the Zealot just goes across the map because there shouldn't be anything at home. Hero, I mean, okay, alright. Alright. So this is how we're gonna do it. This is the kind of series we're having. Here, starting on Stargazers. A bit of a spicy map with the back base and the close air positions, and one of 2 maps in the map pool that feature a contested gold as the half map base. The Reaper gets in, looking for a probe kill, chasing. Now, where did... Oh, the probe slipped back. I didn't even notice. So, ByuN, his proxy, slapped down. Hero, the Zealot is inside the house. It's locked in, but trying to chop its way through a tech lab to get out. The SCV's looking for the surround. Workers being called into action very early in this game. The Zealot, unfortunately, only melee range. The Reaper gonna take advantage of that, trying to chase down one of the SCVs. A 3rd SCV this game taken down, but the Zealot finally eliminated before the 3rd. Alright, so where do we go from here? An Adept is sneaking to the watchtower at the north. The Reaper is not checking the watchtower. I'm not sure if the Adept wants to kill the Reaper or if it wants to continue going across the map. Well, there's a second Adept. Quite a gauntlet here. Will he hit the grenade timing? No, he just loses it. Okay. ByuN. Well, of course he hasn't seen the gold, as... What crazy player would just proxy a gold base right at the start of the... Well, here we are. Oh, Hero. Hero has been, like... He combines the wild and ridiculous strategies of someone like a Zest, and the execution and just micromanagement of, like, a Neeb or a Parting in very different ways. He just seems to have the best of both worlds. His control is so good, but his mind games are definitely brain-melting, just like these oracles are melting through the cyclones. A lock-on kills 1, loses 1. ByuN trying to mine from this base. He had to get rid of those pesky mineral patches first. But we'll be able to float the command center over. I think at this point, ByuN's assuming that Hero has taken his pocket base here. And when he sees that hasn't been taken, he's going to get... I wonder if he'll puzzle it out, because right now, Hero has already been mining. Only 6 mineral patches at this base, but 2 gases. The 6 mineral patches combined... Now follow along, a lot of numbers here. Since you mine 40% faster, 7 minerals instead of 5. Hero has as much mining from the gold base as he would from a regular base, but he can do it with less probes, which is the major benefit. Oh my god. The Moracles. With Hero, his builds, like, he uses the same units in all the matchups, just sometimes in very different ways. Like, his oracles in Protoss versus Zerg are more of a scouting unit, whereas apparently his oracles in Protoss versus Terran are more of a trade them out for whatever units you can get early. Now, here's the thing. It seems on paper like, obviously, that it's not great to lose the oracles. It's a little sloppy. But because hero is just waiting for this oh my god. I thought he was just going to take this Nexus. It's still on the table. But because he's waiting and trying to buy as much time as possible for the gold base to really pay off. Oh my. The Marine is suspicious. Yeah. ByuN wondering exactly what's going on. Hero playing a weird game so far. It's pretty clear that Hero is trying to whittle down the army count of ByuN to keep him at home as long as possible and give as much opportunity for the gold base to pay off. But that Marine, the jig is up. The Marine has spotted the gold. The medevac drops, awkwardly flying out, escorted by the oracles. The oracles can't shoot at the medevacs, but they can watch them very closely until the Marines drop out. Gonna find some landing zones at the back of the base here. Zealot's charge is being chrono boosted. It's not there yet. The Reaper wall pylon and the Cybercore are somewhat vulnerable. Just Zealots here. Target fire. Gets 1 oracle. Gets 2. How many oracles? 5. The pentakill so far. The pentacle. 5 oracles have already died in the making of this game, and we're 7. Like, that's almost an oracle per minute dying. A warp prism. +1 attack. Zealots, I thought that was like workers pulled for a second, but that's just a bunch of Zealots marching across the map. There's no way up the mineral-walled ramp. That's 40 minerals, so 8 trips from a worker. There's nothing, not even a nuclear missile can bust through those mineral walls. Only the lowly blue mineral workers can do so. Phoenix is on the way. Hero is now containing ByuN in his own base, but ByuN is desperate to get out and do some economic damage. Because Hero is, like, the income right now is kind of insanely heavy in favor of Hero, especially considering we're so early in the game. Almost 1,000 extra resources a minute, even against the mules. Trying to drop out. Oracles still serving their multifaceted purpose. Hero is taking a... Okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3. Well, this was 2, but... Alright, a 4th base. Hero has a 3rd... ByuN has a 3rd command center on the high ground. ByuN was the one who tried to take the initiative in this game, remember. He was the one who tried to start things off with the Proxy Reaper. But... Hero has grabbed it, he slapped him away and took his place as he shut down the Proxy Reaper, understood he'd have some map control because of it. I mean, just look at the map vision. Let's go to the Hero cam. Compared to ByuN, the map is dark and full of Protoss. And oh my god, I found a really cool looking graphical bug here. I was in the player cam, so it was using player colors, which are purple in this case. And then right as the revelation went off, I switched. So the revelation is still player colored, which looked really cool. What if you see, that's microtransactions. You get to choose, like, what flavor of revelation would you like on those units? You see, let me monetize this game, all right? Monetize, like, subscribe. Okay, if you subscribe today, if you subscribe on Patreon, you can see my seminar with 5 ways you could be monetizing stupid ideas on the internet. Number 1, this advertisement. But subscribe for the other 4. Enhanced shockwaves in the most vulnerable Ghost Academy positioning ByuN probably could have picked. Rubble Bay is on the way as this game is spiraling up in supply and intensity. Unfortunately for ByuN, though, he's been kind of bottled up into his base, and that is not his natural habitat. He does not like playing defensive like this. He's a very active player, but Hero's taking the map.
Engaging the enemy.
Just look, like... Hero is revolutionizing Protoss is what he's doing. It's a very difficult, it's a very high APM style, and just in terms of the amount of things you need to be doing. Like, I think we're going to need to do a first-person breakdown on some of these hero games, just so we can see, we can pretend to understand a fraction. We got stasis wards, observers, phoenixes, war prism, bases all over the place, pylons, nexi, gateways. Yes, there are other Protoss units I could name, but I don't have time to go through the entire Colossi, Robo Bay, Robo, Forge, Double Forge, Blink, bunch of zealots in the main Templar archives. Disruptors finishing. Meanwhile, ByuN, he's still at 160 supply. He's not out of this yet, but you can tell who's got control of this game right now. ByuN is going to have one shot, one opportunity to break out. And is that opportunity going to present itself? Will he be able to capture it? Or will hero just have way too much map control and it won't matter anyways? He doesn't notice the stasis. Another revelation. The observer spots, like, just in case you didn't notice before, the observer spots all the mines. Revelation follows it up. The amount of map dominance right now. Map control doesn't describe it. Map dominance for hero. He's taken the map and he's just kind of brought it to heel. But the EMPs shut down, almost all the energy stripped away. Another brigade of zealots is on its way across the map. Double Stargate, Fleet Beacon. What flavor are we coming out with here? The Fleet Beacon... Tempest? Hero is a very... Oh my god, that's so many zealots, but a lot of them taking splash damage. EMP strips away the shields. The Widow Mines help out a lot too. And ByuN shaves them apart. That does actually just free up some supply. Carriers in production. Triple chrono on the 3 Stargates here. As he gets +3/+2, ByuN has not been slacking in the upgrades himself. The army supplies are dead even at 115. The worker supplies in the 70s. One goes down. Disruptor volley. The Widow Mines. This is quite a concave from ByuN. These valuable RoboBay units trying to bust in here, but ByuN biding his time. I can almost feel ByuN like grinding his teeth right now. He really wants to fight, but he knows he has to wait at least until maxing out here. But he's maxed out. It's not going to get any better. You got to try to find an opportunity. And here it is. Shots fired. Disruptor shot. Micro's back. Half the army going forward. EMP across the bow. Liberator's looking for an opportunity. ByuN forced back again. Hero maintains 200 supplies. The Warp Prism reinforces. Liberators on the ground. Revelation not finding it. Oracle's down. Tank clipped by the Disruptor at the end of the fray. Disruptor found. Liberator's trying to zone. Still some Phoenixes to help out a bit. The carriers have not yet arrived, though they're on the way across the map. You can see them on the minimap right now. Liberator's repositioning. Come outside, trying to reach over the top of those liberation zones. The carriers may force the issue. The thing is, the carriers, especially with only +1 air, are not that much of a threat against Ghost Marine. Where are the disruptor shots? Just one disruptor shot. Doesn't find much. Clips behind the tank. EMPs across the board. Suddenly, the entire army stripped of shields. The Marauders are stimming forward. The stutter step is good. One Colossus is all that's left. The Phoenix is mostly knocked out of the sky. The Interceptors just blown away by the Marine fire. And overall, Hero is mostly cleaned up in that fight, whereas ByuN has lost 3,000 less minerals and 1,000 less gas. And he better be cost-effective because Hero has so many more bases. But a Venn diagram of freedom. Great Disruptor Valley gets a tank and then some. Tectonic Destabilizers. The Tempest anti-building damage. Now, he doesn't have any Tempest, so that is a bit of an issue with making use of that upgrade. But I think correctly at this point until there's Advanced Ballistics Liberators. Gravitic Drive, he's filling in the blanks. Hero, not skipping any of those ancillary upgrades here. Oh, disruptors are leaning into what is now Liberator zones. Everything underneath is getting obliterated on both sides. Oh. Liberators easily dispatched with the Stalkers. No ship weapons upgrades for ByuN mean that they take some extra hits to kill the Archons and Stalkers. Disruptor could have been worse. Interceptors are mostly just a... honestly, the carriers are not paying off here for hero. They are a lot of supply, and they're constant drain of minerals. As hero is actually out of minerals constantly. He has to rebuild those interceptors, 15 apiece. I don't know how many he's lost, but he rarely has all 8 in those carriers now. ByuN still chasing. Target fire gets the Ruptor. Archons bully back. Ooh. Oh, that hurt. That one hurt. 3 ghosts with that. How many ghosts have died? 10 in total. That disruptor shot clipped a significant and important chunk. Oh, it goes. EMP. Enhanced shockwaves is done. More disruptors. Yeah, really hurting for that ship weapons upgrade is ByuN. No upgrades in production for either side. They're both so focused on unit production. Disruptor shots flung out. Bio mostly intact. Carrier's empty right now. ByuN chasing down the last Colossus. Disruptor finds the ghost. The Bio army continues stimming forward. Warp Prism looking to reinforce target fire. Zealots canceled. The most expensive army with nothing left to shoot. And ByuN tearing through everything here. The fadeaway shots will cover the retreat, but hero plummets to 110 supply. ByuN holds an uncharacteristically defensive game, but his patience has now paid off, and hero overextended, and it's cost him. Does he have the ability to pay it off, though? The income. Ah, yes. Mule Canyon. As we see here. When ByuN was able to drop some mules on a fresh base. Hero's starting to mine out. The gold is pretty much gone. Only gas left. It's entirely gone. If this actually goes to half map, we'll have to see if that base was enough to counteract the efficiency of ByuN's army so far. Another exchange. Those interceptors. Honestly, carriers in this sort of scenario, I feel like the carriers were a mistake. The gateway pylon combo. The disruptor balls looking dangerous here. But ByuN has been avoiding them for the most part. There's been a couple big hits. But overall, the disruptors have not been finding the opportunities. Against players like ByuN that are always on top of it, they lose a lot of value over time. If you're not able to get the hits, like Colossi are guaranteed damage, if less potential. Curves into the Marines, the ragdoll, so beautiful. Small bio army splits off the probes. I mean, at this point, I don't think hero needs 85 probes. Meanwhile, the army from the high ground, disruptor targeted. Another one lands, but it's not much. Overlapping liberators, more EMPs. Carriers once again, paperweights. Just a flying waste of minerals, in my opinion. They put a timer, like they can deal with very small amounts of units, but these two carriers, at this point, I don't know. Like, it feels like hero has spent many carriers of minerals trying to keep the carriers alive and not getting the value out of them. But here come the Colossi, trying to add in some of that more guaranteed damage to force ByuN back. Hero has been working off a much larger bank. He's playing the economical game here, which many Protoss are not as comfortable with against the potentially more cost-effective Terran army. It just becomes very difficult to actually trade with a maxed-out Ghost Liberator army, as all those units are very south. That's why a lot of the time we see the Blink DT kind of style, the warp in 20 Zealots to the main, try to pick them apart rather than fight heads up. But hero has been keeping the largest heads up, the Colossi, as part of his army and fighting almost all together here. Meanwhile, though, ByuN picks up and he goes to the main. And in the main, is there energy for recall? Yes, but he could EMP the Nexus. Here we go. Recall to the main. That is a play. EMP on everything as it comes back. Point blank, Disruptor Higgs picks up and gets out. Now, was this the game-winning or game-losing move? Because I can't imagine it's going to be... Like, has ByuN made a massive mistake and thrown away 50 supply, essentially? Yes. Oh, ByuN. Oh, ByuN. Hero with a large enough recall that ByuN couldn't just eliminate it immediately. And now Hero's back to 200 supply, and overall, that the units lost has drawn closer to even. By the way, an insane exchange here. We are at, what, 35? 70,000 resources lost in just over 20 minutes. I'm not a mathematician, but that's approximately a lot. Rarely do players even make that many units, let alone lose them. Shooting his own zealots! A little bit too far forward. Disruptor shot curves into 4 Marauders. The Disruptor is taken out at the end of the day. Blink DT is +3 air, +2 shields. 13 more Zealots being warped in this maddening exchange. The Liberator count continues to grow. The Medivacs are almost constantly out of energy trying to heal the incessant stims of the ByuN. The upgrades are drawing closer and closer to max. Air weapons getting added for each side. The Venn diagram of liberation is becoming a lot to contend with on the ground for Hero. The carrier is finding more value there. More Zealots, some of them trapped on a move command. Hero, though, every time you see him lose a bunch of units, you look back and he's at 200 supply. So that's the kind of game we're having. The Disruptor's stuck at the back. Finally, a carrier goes down. Zealots flanking from the south. Disruptors not even firing their shots, just menacingly gliding forward. Wow, so menacing. ByuN, without ever really losing a fight, he taps out of the game. Wow. What an exchange. That was honestly an incredible game. Hero. He kind of played like a Terran there, where you aren't too worried about losing a few key units in order to gain a better position. ByuN, completely out of his element, stuck behind his walls, up the high ground, ever since the very beginning with the Probe Scout. Hero just taking the initiative and keeping it. Well, we'll see if he can continue to keep it throughout this series. Game 2 is going to be on Moondance, which is a map that I think a lot of players are considering vetoing just because of the layout. But we'll have to see. Yeah, opening up with that Proxy Rex. Very unlucky, but I mean, he put it in such an obvious spot. He may have been banking on Hero not scouting it, but it feels like one of those, you'll never look in the most obvious spot for a Proxy Rex because that would be too dumb. But then Hero just very diligently. I think he's got his style, and he's willing to sacrifice mining time on a probe or two to make sure he can pull it off. Like, it feels he's got quite a flow chart of ways he wants to play, and is this a Mecha Rex? I feel like ByuN, he opens up the map. He's like, all right, close your eyes. Close your eyes, everyone. There. All right. And, there you go. So, the probe, I believe, comes through this path on a normal scouting path. This is when you scout and you see no barracks, you're assuming they're proxying on their side of the map. Named after Mecha Prime from, like, 2010, who was the first next-level genius to do this, which is just build a barrack, because everyone was so afraid of Proxy Rex, especially Zerg, but all races. Just build a barracks right outside your base. They scout, see no barracks, freak out, and then you just kind of float your barracks back after the first unit, lose about 15 seconds, and they throw their entire build off for almost no cost. It doesn't work as well anymore. It's obviously been figured out, but like it becomes a lot more of a poker game where, like, are you bluffing, or are you actually proxying me? And keeping those options open is sometimes the most important part. I want to thank you guys as we go into the Reaper Micro. Perfect time fill opportunity. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the cast lately, and I hope you continue to enjoy in the future. I do want to point out that we have a playlist of, I think this might be number 500. We're very close. 500 pro matches cast since I started casting somewhat officially-ish, or at least formally, such as it is. So I hope you have enjoyed at least some of them, and I hope you enjoy into the future. Thank you for watching. And in so many of them have there been bunkers in one place or another. Now, is this worth it? Is building the bunker behind the mineral line forcing out? It's going to be a proxy Stargate in return here for hero. I think it's one of those, like, ByuN trying to take back control of the situation. I think on paper, if responded to with just, like, Stalker shield battery, mathematically it doesn't work out. Like, it costs the Terran more than it costs the Protoss. But if they make any mistakes, they lose probes, they don't deal with it quickly. Oh my god. Using the vision! Using the vision to break the lock! Oh, he used the vision blockers there. It broke the lock, completed the shade, and just bamboozled the Cyclone. Unfortunately, of course, he already took too much damage, so he's going to go down on the way out. But beautifully done by hero. And what do we have? Another... the double gate. A gate-gate combo. Stargate and a warp gate. And a tank has been built. So hero has successfully masked the existence of the Stargate. I don't know, like, he picked up the Cyclone instead of the tank, which... I mean, he gets it, but he's now revealed the Stargate's existence, which was most of its value up to this point. Phoenixes, of course, gain plenty of value over time if they're able to stay alive. But with no Widow Mines here, hero is still going to be the aggressor. Picks up the tank, just trying to target it. Keeps the Phoenix alive. ByuN doesn't go for the Phoenix, he goes for the Stalkers. So far, the worker count still in favor of hero, but ByuN, there's not enough energy. He just has to menacingly stare. The third command center finishes. So now ByuN is in kind of a similar position to last game where he's pretty stuck in his base. But he now has more bases and more potential economy than hero. Hero just slaps down 3 more gates and a Twilight Council. Yeah, ByuN gonna move out? I guess Phoenixes are not enough to really keep him pinned back. Charge is on the way. Hero's gonna do an all-in. Oh, that's a very optimistic Phoenix he's starting there. Supply blocked as well. More pylons on the way at home. Phoenix is coming in, looking for whatever they can... Oh, there's a tank! And there's no engineering base, so there's no turrets. ByuN may be regretting going out on the map as the Phoenix... So don't ask, but somehow the SCVs are able to repair the tank in the sky. Much like they repair something like a battle cruiser, all that. It's nano machines, okay? Don't worry about it. Here's like, well, you took out one of my proxy pylons, but have you had second proxy pylon? He knows what he's about. ByuN moving out. expecting hero to kind of play defensive and try to buy time. Hero is rejecting that entire idea. He has successfully gambled that instead of going for economy, going for a huge amount of units, because ByuN wants to move out. That's how ByuN plays, and that's the conventional Terran wisdom here. But Hero just adds on more gates in charge, and ByuN is halfway across the map with nowhere to go. The Zealot count is too damn high, and he cleans up the army. ByuN has a wall with like a single tank and 5 Marines behind it. Some repair. You can't repair until the buildings are finished, though. The tank is picked up for now. Breaks through the NG bay. The target fire was late on the Phoenix, and Hero is busting up the base, the ramp, and the game. 18 SCVs down. And ByuN, you can't take anything for granted against Hero. He's not just going to sit back and take another base. You have to make sure. But the charge lots completely blindsided him. He was not... Even the probe... Another just commanding game from the Protoss player. These are not like... I wouldn't even call it cheese. These are not cheesy strategies. I don't think these strategies lose a lot of value if they're... even if they're spotted, like half the time if they're spotted, they force the wrong response. Like that game, that was spotted. ByuN saw the Stargate, he realized the situation, and then he made the wrong call because of it. So like, they're these dual-sided. There's a lot of room for interpretation, and a lot of room for error, which Hero is very ready and capable of taking advantage of. And that brings us already to match point. Jimmy! What a performance. ByuN, I think, fully capable of taking this back, but he's been outclassed so far. Game 1, honestly, ByuN was taking great fights. Hero never entirely overextends. He might take bad fights, but he's never just committing his entire army to something, especially if he can't rebuild it. But that's the... Never mind about that. Alright. Here we are. That's a... Yep. That's pylon. That's probe. Name a more iconic combo. Probe comes in. Barracks is spotted. It's 2 gas from ByuN. So he's more intent on teching up than expanding early, which could be his best chance here. But he has not SCV scouted. It's going to be a Reaper. That's going to be his first opportunity to get any information on the other side of the map. And that may very well be too late. It's a 2-gate, not just a Max Packs build here. The second gate is the real kicker. Where if he just gets a reactor after the Reaper, Trouble Town. Population ByuN. Because that Reaper... Oh, no. So, that Reaper comes out, kills the probe, goes across the map. There's going to be a Stalker, a Zealot, and no units to defend. But ByuN is looking... Well, if he loses the Reaper, it's a total disaster. The boys are pulled. Grenade on the ramp. You shall not pass, say the SCVs. But Hero says we'll see about that. Have you met my friend Bob? The Zealot comes up. There's a tech lab on the factory. The Reaper is being targeted. You cannot lose that, at least until the Marines come out. An Adept is joining into the fray. Things are getting more difficult. A second Adept. The bunker does finish. Wait, those are SCVs in the bunker. Get the SCVs out of there. Marines in the bunker. SCVs to repair. Trying to target fire. Enough SCVs by that much. The Zealot is adding a lot of damage, but the Zealot... Oh no, he lost the... Well, he's using the shades for vision. This has to cancel. They're inside the house. Oh my. I don't know where you go from here. ByuN is stuck on one base. He's actually supply blocked for a while here because of that depot. The Reaper, the Nexus is finishing. The units come back home. Do you pull the boys and go? Did he see the Twilight? He did not see the Twilight. He's gonna lose the Reaper without seeing the Twilight. It doesn't really matter what comes out of the Twilight. Anything's good. It feels like ByuN's just gonna go for it. He doesn't have enough money for a command center. I think you pull at least some of the SCVs and you go across the map and try to make this work. Thing is, hero has enough units to stop him from getting down the ramp still. And this series is looking more one-sided than a Mobius strip right now, and like this. Oh, the target fire. The tank is going to do a lot of damage. If hero actually loses a bunch of these units, well, picks up the Marines. Blink is halfway done. Constant chrono. Is recall's off cooldown. It may be needed here. ByuN is still on one base. The Marine is dropping out. There's nothing back at home to defend. The recall instantly. The split second he saw it. Blink is not yet done, but he might not know. God. Oh, what a disastrous end. Hero with a dominant 3-0 in this ESL Cup. ByuN not able to catch a break, only stalker shots in this game. Well, I hope you enjoyed this display. What do you think about Hero? Who do you want to see him face next? Who can beat him at this stage? I don't know, but I know it'd be awesome if you check out this video. Jimmy. Like, subscribe, or maybe in the recommended. That's also great. In that playlist. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Congratulations, Hero. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.